Welcome to Two Kernels and a
Hey,
Bucket,
what's going on,
episode
guys?
number
4.
That's right. Hey, what's up, man? Man of Mystery, Garrett Daly,
How's it going,
William
Bill?
Bergman.
How's
So, let's do a little bit of news first, shall we?
Let's do it.
First of all, the passing of Mr. Chuck Norris. Love the guy.
Oh,
Man, my heart goes, "Oh, what a man." I
living
loved
legend,
his
folks.
I love the quotes they had after him after years of being in films. A little bit. My favorite movie is Silent Rage with Chuck Norris. What's your favorite Chuck Norris movie, man? You got to have one. Did you
Oh,
ever
I
watch any of his movies? Or no?
I gotta go Delta Force, man. That was just
Delta Force. Okay.
Delta Force was fun. Chuck Norris, over the top,
Yeah.
some decent acting, but no, it's sad, man. We lost really one of the true legends, and
Yeah. Chuck
just an
Norris
all
was
around good
amazing.
guy.
Yes. Yes. An amazing individual, humanitarian, fought Bruce Lee. I mean, this guy was the real deal, folks. Yeah, so I saw all those movies when I was a kid. Golan and Globus was putting out those movies like,
Crazy,
like
dude.
yeah, it was like, let's make another one, let's make another one. So yeah, we are going to miss Chuck Norris. We also should mention another person that has passed, which is Ed Gale, the man that played in Chucky. He was the Chucky when the Chucky ran, he was the little person in
Oh
Chucky.
no,
He just
really?
died. Yeah, he
Oh
just died at
man.
61s. He was the suit performer. So when they wore the suit.
Wow.
So yeah, Ed Gale, Ed Gale. So
Ed Gale.
hearts, blessings to both of them. Um, I just saw a good movie that I don't know. Have you seen any movies lately?
Other than the one that we were about to talk about, I have not.
Okay, yeah, I'm curious about that one. Project Hail Mary is really good.
I've heard amazing things about it.
Really
Okay.
good. About 40 minutes too long. Yeah, I would say 40 minutes. It's a good movie. It's got a little bit of ET, heartfelt. I don't know if we need that last shot that they did, but I'll take it. Really well done. And
Okay.
I'm not a big, what's his name? Ryan.
Ryan Gosling.
I'm not a huge Ryan. I like him. I like him as a person. I didn't like Fall Guy because the original Fall Guy to me was Colt Seavers was always going to be Lee Majors. And I wasn't a big fan of Barbie, but I appreciate for what it is. I did see it. Yeah. Don't hold me a grudge and
That's
don't throw
okay that
copies
you
of,
actually saw it. That's okay. I'm
yeah. And,
amazed.
and, pl- and please don't throw copies of Barbie into my casket. Okay. I don't need that in me. I already got Leprechaun 1 through 30 in there. So I don't need Barbie either. Okay. Another thing we should talk about is Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake is coming out
Yep.
12/26 now. The release date from A24, the new Friday the 13th series, A24 is putting out. I heard some weird news about that. The person that's playing the mother, because it's, obviously they're starting from the beginning, is going to be the lady, I think Linda Cardellini, who
Yep.
was Velma from Scooby Doo,
Mhm.
and she's done a bunch of other stuff. She's really talented. I think it's going to be
She's
good.
great.
Have you seen pictures? Have you seen pictures of the sets and
I
everything?
have seen a couple behind the scenes photos, and so far it
Yeah,
looks like promising. Because
it
it's
does.
Peacock, right? Straight on Peacock.
Yeah, yep. Peak
Okay.
A24 by Peacock. Yep,
Okay.
it looks pretty good. Another strange thing I heard is Adrian King, who was in part two that got killed in the beginning, who killed the mother in part one, is going to be in this series.
Really?
Now she's playing her character Allison Harding. How are they doing that? Adrian King is a lot older now. She's in her 60s and 70s. Very curious on how they do that, whether they do
Does she
de-aging
still have the
or
screwdriver in her head?
yeah, I think it was an ice pick, right? Or yeah, ice
Or
pick.
ice pick, whatever it was?
So yeah, she'll start, yeah. So
Is
yeah, I
that how
guess
she
she
starts the
lived.
movie?
I guess she lived and they didn't take it out. Be like, if we don't take it out, you won't die. A pretty strange thing about that is, did you know that that body around part two, around the mother's memorial, one of them bodies is Allison Harding? Did you know that? Somebody
No.
picked that up, that one of those people laying in the front is the person he killed in the beginning of part two, which is Allison Harding.
No.
So if you're a Friday the
Okay.
13th fan, I'm a big
Ooh.
one. Just found that out myself, even though I'm wearing a Freddy Krueger shirt. So anyway, thought I'd talk about that a little bit. I didn't mention something that I really enjoyed. I saw that epic Elvis Presley movie, Elvis Presley in concert. Absolutely amazing. And it's footage that they found in the salt mines that Baz Luhrmann found and had Peter Jackson, who did Lord of the Rings, kind of bring back and clean up. 85% of the footage is no one's ever seen it. So if you're an
No,
Elvis fan, Epic is amazing. I loved it. Um, have you seen that new AI thing going around with that Dirty Dancing dance where they're putting Silence of the Lambs and they're putting Freddy Krueger? You know where at the end where Patrick Swayze's doing that dance at the end, the finale.
I have not seen it. All I've seen is the AI video I sent to you of all the slashers when they finally need to get a job in this economy.
It's great. It's just I don't give a shit what Dave said. The AI shit is funny, and
Oh,
I'll
it's
and I'll
hilarious, dude.
I
It's fun.
freaking love it. I love it. Another thing I wanted to mention, I got a little bit of notes here. I'm sorry.
No.
Faces of Death. They're doing a Faces of Death remake,
I
and
heard. I didn't see the clip, man. I was like, I don't know if I
it's stupid.
wanna.
It's no Faces of Death. This started like late '70s to like early mid '80s. They were a group of videotapes that you rented. Real people's death. First of all, I don't like watching real stuff. Anyway, yeah, I just think that's stupid. Jenny Ortega, right? Jenny Ortega.
Jenna
I don't
Ortega.
know if this is real. I don't know if this is real or not, but apparently she is attached to the remake of. I know this one's real. Single White Female. She is going to be the new one for Single, which was I forgot the two names. Uh, Bridget Fonda and the other chick
Um,
from Fast. The chick from Fast Times. I'll put a name up right here. But yeah, Bridget Fonda and her were the original.
okay.
Anyway, she's supposed to star in the remake. Also, there's talk Blumhouse doesn't own the rights anymore, folks. So don't go crazy about her playing Laurie Strode in a new Halloween, a whole new series. Do we need another? Halloween is done, folks. Leave it alone.
You know
It's
what?
done.
Halloween, I will say this. Halloween doesn't need to be done. Laurie Strode needs to be done, folks. Laurie Strode, we need to retire the old time
Good
characters.
point.
They were great. And let's give a new generation the same wonderful character that we grew up with.
Good point. No, good point.
Well, and
Absolutely.
also, I want to touch on that real quick, Bill, that you mentioned Jenna Ortega because there's some other
Yep.
Hollywood rumors that
Yep.
potentially Jeepers Creepers 5 is potentially in the works with a big studio budget this time and
Oh, so you
possibly
did hear about that.
I did
That's
hear
what I
about
talked
that
about.
too. Well, I was gonna
The
say, and then
new
that,
blood.
but that possibly also that Jenna Ortega is potentially attached, could star in it, or she's being talked about. Rumors.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's rumored. There's a lot of rumors going on about Jenny Ortega. So yeah, I guess we take it with a grain of salt, right? Because I don't know what to believe. I know the single white females, but I heard the Halloween. Now you're hearing Jeepers Creepers. I don't know if
Mhm.
people are jumping on that bandwagon to say she's in everything now. You know what? I don't know. I'm kind of that's kind of getting over. I'm over that already. You know what I mean? I think her time is kind of passed a little bit. She's still popular as hell. Don't
She's
get me
still
wrong.
popular. I don't wanna
She's a
say her
wonderful.
time is
I
past
like her.
just yet.
No, no, that's a bad statement. I would say that she's a talented actress.
Mhm.
Um, but there's other actresses out there. I think she has a kind of a lane. She's perfect in Wednesday. I mean, no doubt about it. She's perfect in Wednesday. She was great in Beetlejuice 2, even though Beetlejuice 2 sucked. She was good in it. She just didn't have anything to say. Perfect pick perfect for picking Winona Ryder's daughter for Jenny Ortega. That's great
Mhm.
casting. Um, I did hear that YouTube has now beat Disney in the overall media business, not the parks or anything, not including the parks. But YouTube is $62.3 billion, and Disney made 60.9 billion last year. So YouTube beat Disney in media last year, which is absolutely incredible. Um, I
I'm
wanted to
surprised it
mention,
took this long. I mean, all kids do is watch little toy cups get open all day instead of cartoons.
right? Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true. Um, there's some news on the Conjuring front that there is a new Conjuring coming called Communion 2027, featuring new investigators. That's actually on IMDb. That's going to happen. So they are continuing. We saw the last Conjuring together. Remember?
We did.
Um, they are going to continue that. It did really well. Obviously, it wasn't that great. It was better than the last one. I thought better
Ooh.
with the
Oh,
devil
no.
something
No, I
was
would
it?
agree that, yep.
Um, they are doing two more Insidiouses. Right? Did you hear about this?
I
This is
heard they
true.
were talking about making more. I didn't know if it was confirmed yet. Okay, so all
So
right,
confirmed, it's going to be Thread. It's called Thread, an Insidious Tale. That's this year. That's a time traveling spell movie. I'll just leave it at
sure.
that.
All right,
Go away.
sure.
Go away. Okay.
No,
When you start doing an Insidious Tale, you're thinking of a Star Wars story. They're not going to be that great. Solo sucked, but the other one, Rogue One, was pretty good. That was pretty good. But some of them don't work. Anyway, Insidious in 2027 is going to be The Bleeding World with Lynn Shay coming back.
okay.
So get ready for more Insidious and Conjuring, folks. It's coming. I'm almost done here, Garrett. I'm sorry, I got a lot of stuff. Um, Here, Stephen Colbert is going to be writing the next Lord of the Rings with his son.
What?
Yeah, that's true. He's a super fan. He's going to be writing the next Lord of the Rings with his son after he leaves the Tonight Show, whatever the fuck it's called. Um, for people of Neverending Story is going to be coming back to theaters again, people. They're redoing the whole thing. And I've never seen these movies, but the artwork for the first one was incredibly done. Special effects
You've
wise
never
was
seen
incredible.
these movies? I don't
I
bullshit.
never seen them. We should do them.
All right, fine. Let's do them. How have you not seen those movies? Even if you don't have to, you know the song though, right?
Never ending story. Of course.
Okay,
It's catchy, just like,
gotta make sure you are an '80s baby.
oh yeah, it's sort of like the Clown Cafe, right? The Clown Cafe.
I love that.
So no, I think I've seen bits and pieces of the first one on video. But that was a huge success. They're redoing that like they did, like they're redoing Harry Potter, blah blah blah. Stallone, we talked about Schwarzenegger last episode. I Am Rocky is the making of Rocky is a movie coming out that looks incredibly awesome. And then they are doing John Rambo Origins. Stallone's producing that, where they're going to show a young John Rambo. Um, we talked about Jeepers Creepers. You just mentioned that. You want to talk about the Oscars at all since I was on, or you just want to go?
Oh yeah, the Oscars. Well, I can see why going back to why it's going to be on YouTube next year is officially.
Oh yeah, they're going back to you. You broke up a little bit. They're going back to YouTube.
Oh no, they're going to be on YouTube after. I believe it's this year. Don't quote me on that. It's either next year or the following year. The Oscars is going to be on YouTube.
That's right. That's right. I did hear that. My take on the Oscar was it was bad. I didn't like any of the selections. I saw it. Sinners was a good movie. It was a
Yeah,
ripoff from Dusk Till
it was.
Dawn. Sorry.
It's
Thought the ending was cool, how he came back after all those years, but it was basically from Dusk Till Dawn. And I don't like movies that are ripped off of it, but
everything ripped
that
off.
was blatantly ripped off. You know what I mean? The memoriam during the show was completely different. All the people that have passed, they missed so many people. Everybody should be honored, uh, but respect to everybody who passed away that was in the business.
Oscars. Look, I'm happy for Michael B.
No,
Jordan. He's a good actor.
he
I'm
is.
happy he
Yep.
won that. But
And
Weapons won too.
yeah. And you know what? Which was, she was great at, but did she deserve an Academy Award? I mean,
She was
I'm
good.
sorry.
I don't know if it was that good. It was okay. You know what? I was all for the horror. Like give horror everything. I want to see a horror win Best Picture, even though I don't care about the Oscars. I would like to see that in my lifetime.
Yeah, like win Best Picture.
Yeah,
Friday the 13th, Part 9.
let's do
Number
it.
one film of 2028. No, I get it. No, and I was happy for her and everything because Amy Madigan's been around a long time. She well deserves it. Um, yeah, that's all I got, man, for notes for this week. And we are going to get ready into our feature, which do you want to go ahead and introduce it or do you want me to introduce it?
Well, you know what, Bill? Since it's your pick this time, I will let you happily introduce it.
Oh god. We are doing the 1982 teen comedy Zapped.
Zapped.
So we'll start with Garrett's interpretation of what he thought. Garrett just saw Zapped for the very first time.
Literally
And let me
just
bring it
watched
up
it.
to you. Let me just tell you a little quick blurb about it before he tells you his opinion. Scott Baio, Willie Ames, Heather Thomas. They're all in high school. Scott Baio gets powers, and he's this nerdy science guy. Like alcohol and pot give him telekinesis, and he is off to the hijinks. Right. I will say this before we get started. This was conceived originally as Carrie as a comedy. That's why they ended it with the prom. So that's how it was conceived. Before you start bashing it, my love for this film goes back to when I was a little kid, obviously, and I saw this was an R-rated movie. I didn't, obviously I've seen a lot of them. It had, Heather Thomas's boobs, but it wasn't really her boobs. It was a stand-in, and she was on Fall Guy. So yeah, this movie was released in September 3rd of 1982, had a budget of 2 million, and it made 8 times its investment on its return investment. It made a ton of money, almost $17 million. So back then, huge success. The most dorkiest, stupid movie you could watch. So much fun that I have to watch it every time it's on. Garrett, what were your thoughts on Zapped?
Bill, I'm actually gonna shock you. For once, I didn't hate the film. It was everything I kind of expected. I mean, if you've seen Revenge of the Nerds and Porky's and these 80s teen comedies, you kinda know what to expect, and I kinda knew what to expect, and watching it was like, "Oh, it's all of that, but like Carrie as a comedy."
Yep,
But
yep,
no,
exactly.
overall, I was entertained by the film. I mean, the
I
jokes
kind of thought you would be. Yeah, I kind
I
of
was
thought you
I
would
was
be.
entertained by the film. I kinda actually liked, even though clearly it's all strings, how they were doing the effects with the telekinesis and
Yeah,
all that,
yeah.
and so even surprisingly, I would thought some of them weren't bad. Looked
No,
much better than I thought they were going to. But no,
no,
I can say
no. Hold
overall,
on.
I found the film to be entertaining.
Yeah, 100%. And they shot this school, by the way, was the same they used in Pretty in Pink, Grease. Nightmare on Elm Street was
Nightmare on Elm
shot at
Street.
that school.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rydell for Grease. So yeah, they were all filmed there. This was after like you brought up Porky's. I when I saw Porky's in the movies, I couldn't stop laughing. Like I said, my dad took me to see My mom, who gets to see that as like as a kid. I love that. So yeah, I saw Porky's, and this is a because of the success of that, they added all the TNA, right? I mean, that's just give me more nudity, right? It doesn't always work, but for this, it's like okay, in its choice bits, it worked. Um, the best thing about this movie was Willie Ames. Willie Ames is that millionaire who doesn't give a shit. He's taking pictures of Heather Thomas, and it just he didn't give a shit. He wanted to use it for personal gain against Scott Baio. He wanted to make him like, let's go to Vegas, and they get even with the bullies and all that stuff. The poster for it when it came out, L.A. Times had to uh, they yelled about the poster because the poster features Scott Baio and Willie Ames kind of with their power. And they say Willie Ames has the power in Tubi, by the way.
Yeah.
Tubi's Tubi's blur. Willie Ames doesn't have the power. It's Scott Baio has the power. So it has them both going like this and blowing the skirt up, of like a teenager. Yeah. Yeah, LA Times went nuts over that. So yeah, there was a lot of telekinesis movies from the late 70s to early 80s. That was a shtick back then. I don't know if you remember, but you're looking at movies like wow, Firestarter, The Sender,
Yeah.
Jennifer, Carrie, Scanners, The Medusa Touch, The Fury. If you've never seen The
Yeah.
Fury, you should watch The Fury. Um, yeah, Hitchhiker's Holding Signs. I mean, these Patrick, all these had these telekinesis movies, and the only one that really did it as a comedy was Modern Problems with Chevy Chase. Remember that? Did you see
Mhm.
Modern Problems? Which
Long
was
time
another
ago.
fun. So, so what did you hate about it?
I mean, it's like with any comedy movies or just any comedies in general, sometimes the jokes land and there are just some jokes that just don't really land as much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Scatman Crothers. He was a legend in The Shining, but the whole thing with him and Salami, I thought was a little like
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
little like, "Yeah, okay." A little too
It just went way overboard and then overboard again.
yeah, I
But I
get it,
think
like,
it
okay, he likes to daydream, but it was like at a certain point, it was like, "Is this really happening?" Because I know I was a little for a second there, but it was like, "Oh, okay, he's daydreaming."
yeah, he's daydreaming, but it was and then, like you said, Scatman Crothers would daydream. he's like, was it Albert
Yep,
Einstein on a
Einstein, he's
bike?
getting chased
Yeah,
by
I
his
mean,
wife.
is he high? Because he's remember he is smoking and
I'm a
drinking. Everybody's smoking and drinking in the school. I don't get it. Like when I was in high school, if you got caught doing that shit, like it was a serious offense. Here he is growing marijuana for Willie Ames in the back of his plant thing, and then Willie Ames messes with Scott Baio, his character, and pours like whiskey or something into
whiskey
his.
or something in
And
this
he's a
little
serious
bottle.
scientist. Yeah, what kind of friend is that, right? It's some bullshit. Like that pissed me off because Barney is the character that Scott Baio played, and everybody knows Scott Baio as um, Chachi from obviously Happy Days and Joni Loves Chachi. It's probably, and then him and Willie Ames went on to work together on what was the show that they worked on?
Um,
Charles in Charge.
mhm.
Yeah, because Willie Ames was from Eight Is Enough. So um, yeah, uh, the guy that did this, the guy that worked on this movie did a lot of B movies. He did Malibu Beach. He did The Van and all these other movies that were playing the drive-in. They were TNA movies. That's why he was kind of brought in to add to the script to kind of get that feel out of it. But
Oh,
with
yeah.
his director Robert Rosenthal. So he did a lot of drive-in TNA movies. Um, let's see. So Willie Ames, Peyton, took the role to kind of break away from that clean cut image. That's why he's smoking pot, he's drinking, he's doing all this inappropriate stuff. He wanted to break away from that. Um, this movie played a lot on cable, a lot. Like
I can
this was a
imagine
movie
why.
that shit, yeah, yeah. But the biggest thing that we should talk about in this movie, I don't know if you knew about, and I know you enjoyed it, was him popping the buttons off Heather Thomas's,
Body
the
double.
breast. Yeah, the body double. Which is credited in the movie, right? It's credited in the movie as a body double. I think she sued them and was all upset.
It was a
And
big thing because she was like,
yeah, the girl that played Bernadette, Barney's girlfriend,
"Uh-huh,
this will shock you. She was 17 when they made that movie
17."
and missed her own prom, and they were like 20 or something. And it's just like when they were making out, they were laughing all the time because it's like, okay, you're kissing a 17-year-old. Do you know that, right? Um, yeah. I thought it was kind of strange how they got the mixture of whiskey and pot. It was just like, what?
Like,
It's kind of like
"Okay,
it was
sure."
clumpy, right? It was clumpy. Just like you said, like they would have these um what is it? He saw salami and then there was a bunch of weird stuff, right? A floating dummy he made fly around. The weirdest parents on the planet, dude.
I feel like the dad was like typical '80s version of dad, stares in the newspaper, "Don't disrespect your mother," and is completely oblivious. The mother with the exorcism and the doll was actually kind of funny a little bit, but yeah,
And the way she talked was funny too. Yeah.
no, I mean, it was over the top and what it was supposed to be. It was just like, you'd have these scenes and then there'd just be this flashback or some kind of thing would happen, after the principal was getting a tuggy under the table. I was kind of waiting for his flashback scene to happen at any point.
Yeah, it's funny. Like they throughout the whole movie, they're like Willie Ames' character, forgot his name, Peyton. Is like he's sleeping with the assistant principal, taking pictures like inappropriately because he's a photographer. So he like you want to be this guy through the whole movie. Like I want to be Peyton so much, right? He gets everything, has everything, right? Obviously, and he sleeps with that chick, and who's like 40 times older than him. And then, like you said, the principal and the vice principal are like going at it like under the table at dinner. It was just weird, man. It's like, I don't know. It was funky to me. That was kind of funky. Um uh the music in this, I gotta tell you, okay, this if this makes me stupider, I love the music.
I like the
Okay.
opening song. No, I don't know who sang
Yeah,
that, but I
yeah,
enjoyed the opening song to this and was like, "Oh, okay.
yeah.
Nice little
The
dip to
opening
it."
song, Try to Kill a Saturday Night, is on my phone. Din, 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 din. It gets you pumped for that movie. You're gonna see a fun, not taken for seriously comedy. with just stupid antics, and whatever problem you have during the day goes away for an hour and 37 minutes. I mean, you can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Like when you first started this, what did you think about Zapped? You didn't know anything about it. You went in there as someone who's never seen it, and you're like, "What am I getting into?" What did you think it was going to be?
I mean, I think it was gonna be what I said earlier. I think it was just gonna be like Revenge of the Nerds, kind of vacation, kinda goofy slapstick 80s comedy, maybe a little bit over the top more than it should have been, but overall, it was entertaining. I was entertained by this Zapped movie, and I know they
So
made a sequel years later. I think it was like a direct to video sequel, something like that. If you wanna
Zapped
get it
again. Yeah.
Zapped again, I don't know if you saw that at all.
No, no, I wouldn't see that. No, no.
I guess
It's
I would
almost
wanna
like
know,
the
like, about what is it specifically this film out of all the '80s, why you chose to talk about like, was this always, like, one of your favorites growing up, would you say?
yes. So you mentioned Revenge of the Nerds and Porky's. I don't consider this either one of them. Okay, they're up here. Where Zapped is a little bit below that. There's different categories of like stupid 80s comedies. This is in like the A category. Well, like the C category. Okay, C plus. A is like Revenge of the Nerds, Porky's, really, really Animal House. They're like big ones. This one was so fun. I mean, I was 13 or 12 or 13 when I saw this. So it was very impressionable. It wasn't playing anywhere near my house. The poster art for it, just everything sucked me in. It's a painted poster, and you know, like I can't wait for that movie. What is that movie? And it just sells you on like a different a journey. A journey is so being a writer, I hate saying journey, but it takes you someplace where you don't usually get to go, right? Especially comedy wise, because like I said, before that, it was like same a year before this was Modern Problems. So you don't get to go there with a comedy with telekinesis because they're all horror. So that's what draws me to it. Yeah. And the music, like Trying to Kill a Saturday Night in the beginning. And then, believe it or not, the guy, his name is David Pomeranz, who did King and Queen of Hearts and Gotta Believe in Magic, which are huge. Get this, people? Huge in the Philippines. I don't know. It's typical 80s fare, but it's just fun. It just
Yeah.
takes me back. So, well, what else you got to say about it? Do you have anything else?
Um, Trying to think. I mean, oh, there was one little behind the scenes thing, and of all the things I was looking at behind the scenes wise, this doesn't get talked about enough, but the DP on this movie was
It's
Daniel
Frank Capra
Pearl.
too.
No,
Oh,
no, the DP was
awesome.
Daniel Pearl, who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was the
Oh,
cinematographer
very cool.
on
I didn't know
that,
that.
and I was so there's been a couple little horror with, Scatman Crothers and a little not obviously Carrie parody, but there's quite a few in this movie that I really enjoyed, and people will certainly check out. I'm sure there are probably some other things in there too. I mean, hell, what am I saying? The Exorcist? Yeah, it was a lot of little horror parodies were in this movie
There
almost,
was with the head spinning
which
around or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
I
I
enjoyed
think
that aspect. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if the head spins around, but it was like, the dummy was really
Mhm.
fun. Scott Baio was great in this. I don't care what anybody
No, he
says.
was
It's
good. He was really good,
perfect
man.
play. They don't look like high schoolers at all, but it's just, um, you could see like, you know, that when he's walking down the street and, you know, he's coming home after the accident and that kid's like, "Hey, Barney Bonehead," you know, it's like
Happy
and
eye.
the whole neighborhood doesn't respect him. Nobody respects him. Which makes the ending so much better because you know obviously it turns into Carrie, but with TNA, and he starts making for no reason at all starts making people's he bumps his head or whatever, right? And then he gets mad or something, and he's I know Heather Thomas makes fun of him, and he just starts causing everybody's clothes to come off, which kind of makes no sense. But the TNA part of it in the 80s makes perfect sense, right? And
Oh,
then he gets
totally.
hit in the head. Then he gets hit in the head, right? And he acts like his powers are gone, which I thought was really cool. And then at the end, he tells Willie Ames, he goes, "I don't have it anymore," you know, blah blah blah, you know, because Willie Ames Peyton
Mhm.
was going to use him to go to Vegas and stuff, so he kind of needed to get rid of him that idea that stop using me.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you see that magical thing where, you know, he makes the handkerchief come out of his pocket when nobody else sees it. And you're like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah. It was exciting that he got his powers back. Like, yes, he still got them. And then shoots up into the sky with, which is kind of weird. It's sort of like an ending of Grease. Like, I don't totally get that ending, right? Like, why did the car fly at the end? Why did him and his Bernadette fly up into the air? But I love it, right? You sold it and I bought it.
No,
I'm a sucker.
it was funny, and then I will say definitely no, Scott Baio actually did a really good job in this movie.
He
That's
did. He
he
did.
did. I will say a thing about Willie Ames, is if I'm pronouncing that right. His
Yeah,
character, I
Willie
thought,
Ames.
even though I know he was also the nerdy friend, and it was the two of them, I yeah, don't get me wrong. The bullies in the movie were bad, typical '80s bullies. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I almost kind of felt like Willie Ames was kind of a little bit more of a dick more, and kind of did
To
things with
Scott Bell.
like to not just to Scott Baio, but even to the bully. Because I'm like, the bully's pissed at you, dude, but it's kind of like he kind of has good reasons to be pissed with him. I mean, you hooked up with his chick, you sent him a photo of it, and I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, yeah, the guy's a dick, but he's not compared to other '80s bullies. I wouldn't say he's the worst. I don't know. I just thought that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Willie Ames was sort of a bully in himself
He
because he
was,
even does
yeah.
it to Scott Baio. I mean,
Scott
like,
Baio in a
let
way,
me let me mess up your science experiment, but if he didn't mess it up, he wouldn't have got the powers, right?
I
And all
guess.
this shit. But he's still messing with his friend, and then he's like, "Well, you don't need Bernadette. Let's go to a party tonight." Then you're like, you just want Scott Baio to find love, and like, okay, this nerd guy has no chance. He finds somebody that loves him that doesn't want to take advantage of him. But Willie Ames's character is like, let's go to a frat house. I want to make some cash, even though the guy's a billionaire. It
That's what
makes
it's like, dude, aren't you
it
rich?
doesn't make
What do you
any
need
sense.
money
Aren't
for?
you? Yeah, yeah. What do you want to go to Vegas for? He just wanted more. Like, it was greed. It was
Yeah.
greed. It was very greedy. Yeah. So, you really wanted to, but I still liked his character because he was cocky.
Yeah, I mean, it's all fun.
Yeah. And you wanted to see get even with Heather Thomas's character because she was so mean to like Barney, Scott Baio's character.
Mhm.
She's like, "Why don't you go with one of your mice friends?" It's like you could see why he ripped open your shirt. You're like, "Yeah, I'll do this to you." You see, so the intentions for him were really good. Like, you treat him like that, he's going to get even, right? And why not?
No,
He's
she
going
had
to
it coming,
embarrass
and
you. That's the best
now
way.
I don't know about doing it to the whole school. I thought that was a little like, because like with
That's
Carrie,
what didn't make sense. It
I
didn't make
could kinda understand why she went full psycho at the end
well,
because she herself Scott Bill doing it to, like, the whole school, it was like,
it didn't make any
it didn't
sense.
really make any sense, but whatever, it needed more TNA.
That's exactly what it was. That's what the director and the producer said. And okay, it was that ending, right? We're like, we just need to be the Porkies now.
Yes.
And I get it. And it worked. Like I said, look, return of investment, 8 times what the budget was. So it worked. Like he's Also I want to mention, you mentioned a credit, Frank Capra Jr., whose dad directed It's a Wonderful Life, is also credited on this movie. He had a thank you credit from director Robert Rosenthal. Now, Frank Capra Jr., we mentioned Chuck Norris earlier, had worked on Eye for an Eye. He was a producer on Eye for an Eye and as well as Firestarter.
Oh,
So
really?
he was his own producer. Yeah. So that was kind of a neat how sort of the juxtaposition of Chuck Norris passing it away and Zapped being our next
Wow.
movie is kind of neat. Um, I do want to mention that this movie had an Italian censorship to be shown in that market to get a certain visa to be shown there because it makes no sense. It wasn't that bad, guys. There was nothing downstairs that you saw. It was all upstairs, right? So Avco Embassy put out this movie, and they put out a lot of cool movies. I think they did The Fog. So I was a big fan of that. So it was sort of like a company called like New World. Whenever they came out with something, it was like it was different, right?
Right.
Um, you did mention Zapped again. It was video 1990. The only returning character was the vice principal Rose Bernhardt, who that one guy in the movie calls Rose Burnfart, which she doesn't even like. He would have been going to the office if he said that shit to me in the movie. I'll tell you that. Like, do you get that? Hey, Miss Burnfart, like,
Oh, totally.
and it was like a jerk. You got anything else?
No, I
Got on
mean,
your
I will
if you
say,
had
you know
to
what, folks? That's a fun turn your brain off movie. Don't take it seriously. I mean, it's not. You're not gonna take. It's not high art. It's not gonna win an Oscar.
no,
It's just fun. '80s
yeah,
schlock. I will say about this,
and
and
I
I enjoyed it overall. I did enjoy this pick, Bill.
that's awesome. That's what's good is because you and I get to play in that playground where you get to see stuff that I want you to watch, and I get to see stuff that you want me to watch. So that's kind of cool. Um, there was one that you wanted me to watch, and I watched it a long time ago. Mike Flanagan did it with the white mask. Remember that one you wanted me to
Oh, Hush.
watch?
Yeah.
Hush. I actually thought that was pretty good. I didn't
Yeah.
like the mask or anything, but yeah. So the suggestions that we give each other, both millennial versus Gen X, are pretty neat. Sometimes it's rewarding when I hear you say I liked it. If you were back in the 80s, you would probably love it because you
Probably.
grew up with it. You know what I mean? So we want to say thank you to everybody for watching. We are going to have a like and subscribe button. So
Folks, if you want to hear two
yeah.
young and old people talk about
Hey,
guys talk about
hey, who's
movies,
the old bullshit? Don't be starting that
hey,
shit.
figure out your mic, old man, then we'll talk.
Well, I'm glad. Hey, by the way, you should not be hearing no more echo. And we're not going to tell you the reason behind that echo is a major catastrophe.
This is
So
the
we
fifth
fixed it,
episode
folks.
we filmed tonight, folks, is this right here.
Yeah,
Fifth
I
time.
know. Yeah, we shot one before this with Dave, so that will be out. So yeah, you got nothing else? You got anything to plug
No.
or any moving date?
No set day, probably by May-ish, sometime, May,
May still
early
still
June.
Mayish?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Let's get together and take you to dinner or lunch before
All
you roll
right.
out.
Steak and lobster. Thank you, Bill. That sounds great.
Yeah, we're talking authors, treachers if they're still around. Maybe McDonald's, maybe In and Out if you're lucky.
Oh,
Well, listen, everybody, thank you again. Like, subscribe. We love doing this. We're going to
well,
continue.
thank you for turning in,
It is,
guys. Hopefully you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
come back
Garrett's
as
picked
always.
next time, so we don't know what we're going to be watching. So look out for episode 5 of Kernels in a Bucket.
5,
Well,
yeah.
episode 6 will be coming up next.
Ooh.
Um, this is really 4. It'd be 5 because we really didn't. The one we did with Dave is kind of
It's a little
not really an
special
episode. It's kind
teaser,
of,
folks.
yeah, a special teaser for more stuff
Guest
to come.
appearance.
Yeah. Well, listen, take care, brother.
You too, dude.
We're out, man. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Take care,
Take
guys.
care, guys. Take care, brother.
Take
Bye
it
bye.
easy, bud.